All right. No witty banter off the top. We're very professional this season.
Okay, it's news to me.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast where I give my three contestants three different movies and they try to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor actors from those films. The deeper the cut, the more points they get. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, a guy who's still putting together his Lego from last Christmas, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Great. You know what? No notes, man. That was like your strongest intro we've ever had.
You're not going to say I was doing some sort of fake radio voice or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Top to bottom professionalism. It's all downhill from here.
Thanks very much. How are you doing? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too. I'm pretty good. How were your holidays? I didn't get any Lego this year, but we're still pretty close after the season.
I'm good. Just living life, enjoying stuff. I guess I've got nothing, Alex. You know what? I'm literally focused on making a podcast almost 24 hours a day, and it's really annoying.
I mean, what you're supposed to say, Jeff, is pretty good, Alex. How were your holidays? And I say, oh, not bad. Here's the story that you were supposed to set up for me that you didn't. So there's that professionalism out the window. Okay. My holidays were good, Jeff. I had to fly to Winnipeg.
That's right. I do remember that.
Yes.
You've got not family, but partner family.
I've essentially got family. Like more or less, my in-laws are like, I guess it's like the closest port of harbor. Like they're in Ontario, but like Winnipeg is the closest airport, or Thunder Bay. And listen, I'm sorry to our listeners in Thunder Bay, but I am flying there.
And is there even Toronto flights to Thunder Bay, or do you have to go to like Hamilton?
Oh no, there's a whole bunch. You can do like Porter, you can do WestJet, Air Canada. Everybody flies there.
Okay.
But anyway, so we fly into Winnipeg and then we drive like 4.5 hours back into Ontario, back east to Fort Frances. And the quickest way to get there is to cut through Minnesota for like 45 minutes because there's lakes in the way. You can go up and around and it'll add an hour to your drive, or you can kind of go straight through. But we were coming up to the border, and since that time I went to Cleveland with you and Sandy, and she and I had to pee at the border and we were stuck there for 4 hours.
Yep.
It is now always my practice, regardless, to hit the duty free just to use the bathroom before I cross the border. Even if it's empty, even if they're like, come on, it's easy. I'm like, nope, not falling for the tricks. So we were looking for the duty free at this teeny tiny border crossing. There isn't one. I mean, there's a sign, but it looks like it's just like a mobile home. Anyway, we blew past it. I get to the border. And I swear the border officer is doing like Hank from Breaking Bad cosplay. Like he looks exactly like him. Bald, mid-40s. Like if you cast this dude as a cop from Central Casting, he'd be perfect. But my passport is in my carry-on luggage in the trunk. And I'm like, hey, here's my partner's passport. I'm going to grab mine. It's in the trunk. I'm sorry. I was going to hit the duty free, whatever. It's like, shut off the car. Get the passport. I'm like, okay, yep, no problem. And I'm like trying to be light and jovial because like I don't want border problems. So I shut it off and I get it. And he's asking us questions. And he's like, where you headed? And we're like, Fort Frances. And he's like, why are you going there? I'm like, Fort Frances to visit family. He's like, why are you going there? And my partner, to her credit, was trying to say very upbeat, it's Christmas, like super upbeat. But it came across super bitchy. Like it came as, it's Christmas. And I'm like, I bet that went over great. So I popped the trunk, I grabbed my passport, I gave it to him, I get back in the car. He's like, either of you ever been fingerprinted? And Jeff, as you know, I have been, because of that time I did homework in college. And I took pictures of a police car. And he's like, you were fingerprinted? I'm like, yeah, but like I wasn't charged with anything. And he's like, explain that to me. And I'm like, okay, in my head, I'm like, this is a very cute 15-minute story that I used to tell on dates. I'm like, I don't know if I have like the 30-second non-candlelit version of this story. So I'm like, well, Hank, I was doing homework for school. I was taking pictures of police cars, and it was like a restricted area, no trespassing, but like I shouldn't have been there. Took some pictures. The police did not care for it. They fingerprinted me. They charged me with mischief. Then once they checked the cars, everything got dropped. And he's like, okay. Hands us the passports, says nothing. Like, very dramatic pause from this guy. And he's like, all right, have a good time. So then we left. No issues coming back into Canada. How long were you in the States? We're like 44 minutes. And then came through. But I was a little concerned that when we came back, that there might be like a flag on the passport of like, this person had a run in with the cops or whatever. Because I know if you have a record, it can be very difficult to cross the border. But we know she's going in. But the coda to this story that I think is very funny is the Canadian border coming back at the same crossing, I think used to be a Mr. Lube. Because you like pull up to a garage door that's up and there's a little sign that says, please wait for attendant. And they like walk over from like an outbuilding that is attached under a roof, but it's fully a separate building. And they just kind of like stroll over and they're like, come on up. And they're like really nice. There's no little booth for them to stand beside. They're just in this garage. You pull up, they have, without exaggeration, an iPhone. They take pictures of your passports. And I'm like, are they just tweeting our identity? Like, what is happening here? He looks at the phone, looks at the passport, 40-minute drives, like, and he stops. I'm like, I think we like got gas and, something at Starbucks. He's like, okay, welcome to Canada. Have a good day. Right through. The easiest border crossing I've ever had was at that Mr. Lube.
I think I had friends in like just after high school, and they were maybe in college, and they were doing a similar type border crossing like out west, where it's like just one of those prairie towns where there's no one there. So they literally pulled up and nobody's there. So they waited, like they honked or hit the button and like nobody showed up. So after about 5 minutes, they just left. Don't do that.
Oh, did that go super badly?
Oh, super badly. They got pulled over within about 5 minutes and the car was literally torn apart. Because they're like, yeah, it's like, take off the doors, take off everything. So yeah, don't drive away from Mr. Lube.
Well, this is the first time that I've taken a rental car through the States, and I was a little concerned. And I'm like, what if somebody hit something in the doors? Like, I wouldn't have checked that. Who would have checked that? I didn't even check the center console or the glove box like an idiot. But he was fine.
Well, none of this has to do with our two guests tonight, because from what I know of both of them, I think they both have clean records. First up is a returning player and friend of the show, Craig Smeaton. He went an incredible 6-1 in the first season of Deep Cuts, including 2 of the 3 highest scores ever recorded. Happy New Year, Craig, and happy belated birthday. Welcome back to Deep Cuts.
Thank you. My first game is a 54-year-old. So,
you're firmly entrenched in the 50s now. Like I'm you're mid 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. You don't look any older than you did last year.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Also, we're very happy to have joining us on this episode of Deep Cuts, Thom Ernst, a celebrated Canadian film critic and former host of TV Ontario's iconic Saturday Night at the Movies. You've heard him as a regular contributor on CBC Radio 1, CBC Television, and CTV News Channel. He's also authored 2 books, The Wild Boy of Wabamek and 101 Fascinating Canadian Film and TV Facts, and you can find many of his reviews on originalsin.ca. Be careful how you spell that. It's sin with a C. I went to a completely different webpage. There's also a little hyphen in the middle, so be very careful with that, but originalsin.ca. He's also the first person who I don't know personally that requested to come on the show. So it's a huge day for Deep Cuts podcast to have a guest that I didn't have to persuade/beg to join us. Thom, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. Easy to listen to a few of your episodes, and you want to be on the show. I'm fully aware that I'm going to lose if people bet on this show. Bet on Craig. So that's my little gift to the listeners right now. Bet on Craig. But I don't care. I have a game plan, and it's if it works, great. If not, then I go into a history, Deep Cuts history as getting 0. The first person to get 0.
There's no way you're getting 0.
Yeah, you say that, but you also said neither of us have criminal records. So well,
I was hedging a bet there, and as I said it, I was like, "There's a chance."
Yeah, there is a chance. I'm in my late 60s. I had plenty of time to screw up some ways along the way.
Well, thank you very much for being here. I've been reading your book, 101 Fascinating. I always mess up the title.
So do I.
101 Fascinating Canadian Film and TV Facts. There you've got it showing us right now. I'm actually reading it through my library because I'm cheap. and I like getting things for free, but it's available in your local library, especially if you're in Canada.
And you could also buy it if you're not cheap.
You could.
I was
if
just
you're
going to
not-
say, all our
Yeah.
guests love to hear that. It's like, oh, here's where you can get their stuff for free, everybody. Like, thanks.
Okay.
There was
How
a
about-
reason why I volunteered to be on this show, Jeff.
It's
Please
not
go buy the
available
book.
at the library. You
It's
can't
not, no.
actually get the library.
No, go to what's the best place to buy, Tom? Where do you get the most money for people buying your book?
Oh well, I get the same money regardless
Okay,
of where you buy
so whether
it.
it's Amazon or
Amazon or Indigo, I'd like to support the little individual
sure.
bookstores.
So there's so many things in this book. Like I've been kind of flipping through in it and like, seeing things that look interesting to me and like, oh, I completely forgot about that show or that movie. Like this completely reminded me of like The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz. I was like, oh yeah, I remember watching that in high school. Or Hilarious House of Frightenstein, The Littlest Hobo. Like there's so many good little things. Now, I want to ask you on, I don't know if it's on the liner notes or something like that. There is a mention of which iconic Canadian TV show has been syndicated in 50 countries. Now, I have not found that in the book yet. Do you know offhand which one it is? Of course you do. You wrote the book. I'm just wondering if anyone's got any guesses. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, it could be this. It could be that. It could be this.
Well, give me some of your guesses. But
okay. So off the top of my head, I was like, okay, something like Littlest Hobo could be an easy one because not a lot of dialogue. It could play well in countries around the world because it's a dog. Maybe Degrassi.
Yeah.
Uh,
you know what? It's Night Heat.
Oh, is it Night Heat? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is crazy that it was.
Yeah, it's Night
Heat. Yeah, that's crazy that was because I do remember watching that as a kid.
It's one of the first, I think, shows to get that kind of syndication.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you. I can't remember what chapter it is, but I think it's like 80 something. But it's Canucksploitation.
Mm-hmm.
And you credit the term to Paul Korup, who actually was a guest on our show because I went to high school with him.
No kidding.
So I was just wondering if you guys know each other, if you've crossed paths in your. No, okay, wow.
But I did call him because it seemed to me that term should have existed a long time ago. Well after or well before Paul existed, even. But no, he's the one who coined it, and good for him.
Yeah, because I think you credited it like from an article from like 98 or 99, something like that. So
yeah.
And if I had booked you and I booked Craig before I even started reading the book, and I was like, darn, I should have had Paul on to go against you. But Paul is also very good at the game.
It's not too late to dump Craig.
I got nothing going on.
I can wait.
I was going to say
next time.
Favorite facts was about the Hilarious House of Frightenstein. And the scientist that played the kind of the mad scientist, I think his name was Julius Sumner Miller.
That's right.
And he had actually trained under Einstein and was like good friends with him.
They're good friends. I thought that was amazing too. And I don't know if I put this in the book. I probably did because I needed content. But Vincent Price cut his rate down to I think $2,000.
You did,
episode. Yeah.
That was mentioned there, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I love Vincent Price, and I was so glad to read stuff like that. I think he was probably a very good man. I never got to interview him. My predecessor, the gugue before me,
Elway Yost.
He interviewed him, and so I got to see the raw footage of that. And yeah, that was one of my favorite, but it wasn't a big enough fact to fill a chapter.
Is it true that the Vincent Price, because it was just like a head stuff, that they shot that probably in a day or two, like the whole season? Yeah. I guess they would have shot all of his.
Yeah, they did, and that's why he did it for $2,000, and I think his fee, and this was what it was, the 60s, early 70s, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's $2,000 was still nothing to Vincent Price, but he would have easily had a $20,000 contract or something, if not $50,000, right? I mean, now people get millions for stuff like that, but it was still quite a reduction for him.
I think one of the stories I always heard about Vincent Price on that show, and it may not be true, it may be true, but once again, it leads to your, like, he seemed like a nice guy, was that, like, he was there for a couple days, and, like, one day, like, the crew came out, and, like, one of the vans was gone. And they're like one of the crew, and they're like, whoa, no, like, what's going on? One of the vans is gone. And like,
really, van?
Also, Not Billy Van, who I think it's his.
Get it?
I think it's his birthday today, if I'm not mistaken. I saw it somewhere in social media. But the van was gone. Vincent Price was gone, and then he came back, and the van was full of cases of beer that he had bought for the crew. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm gonna take it with me as it is true because it just kind of like helps paint that picture. Of
That's. I don't know if it's true or not either, but I would believe he'd do something.
How could he
like
have found a Brewers Retail in Hamilton? It would have been so tough to find that.
I think he got him out of someone's backyard.
You could probably do a whole book on just like weird Canadian kids TV shows from like the 70s and 80s, like everything from Hilarious House of Frightenstein and like You Can't Do That on Television to like those, like what was it, Read All About It. Do you remember that one, Craig, with like the computers that could talk and that
Street Sense?
Street Sense, yeah. Like we just had the weirdest kids shows.
Like a Circle Square Ranch, wasn't there? Like
that was the religious.
I think Marcy Ian was on that one.
Yeah,
I might be wrong. Yeah, but it was
Yeah, and you'd have to like Hilarious House of Frightenstein. I'd have to get up at like 6 a.m. or something to watch that, and it would be dark out, and I'd be scared sitting down in my living room all by myself on this like 14-inch TV. So I was like right up to it. But yeah, I used to love that show.
Yeah.
One of the chapters was for the Genies, where there was no award given for, was it for editing, I believe. Yeah. Do you know why? Like they went through the whole process of nominating people and going up there to present the award, and then literally said, nobody's won.
They even read the names. They even got up and they read the names of the nominees and went to the trouble to announce that nobody on the jury thought any of you were good enough to walk away with this award. Isn't that horrid?
What year was that? Any idea?
Well, now you got me. I'd have to look it up. But
yeah, what an awful thing to do.
That's Mean Girl shit right there. My God.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. It was just and from that point on, the speeches afterwards where people mentioning how atrocious that was. When was the last time you heard the word atrocious? How awful that was that they would do that, and oh my God, yeah, humiliating for everybody. So it's sort of at least we got nominated. It took on a whole new meaning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, isn't that horrible? But then
I thought it was going to be the opposite of like, oh, everybody, like we all tied. You were all so great.
Yeah, like that's a very Canadian thing to do.
Exactly.
Right.
Somebody really. Oh, I mean that jury that was put on that because they. Have you guys ever been on a jury for awards or anything like that at Film Awards? So what they do is, okay, Craig. So that they have you focus on a certain aspect, whether you're doing documentaries or editing or something like that. I don't know who was on that editing jury, but man, they were full of themselves. I think. I guess maybe nobody could agree which one had won, but which two? I think Jeff or Alex. I don't know which one of you or Craig pointed this out. You give it to them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or there's a tie between the two films that got 2 votes each or something like that. But yeah, to literally go up on the stage, announce everyone's names, and then say, but we don't think any of you deserve this award.
Exactly.
Like I could see people just next year not submitting stuff for the awards, being like, all right, well, if this is how you see us as filmmakers, then you're not going to get anything from us, and we won't be back here. I think I've never been on an awards committee or anything like that, but one time I did seat fill for Gordon Pinsett at the Genies, if I'm not mistaken. So that was pretty exciting.
He's a good man too.
He is a good man. Quick story is not my story; it's a secondhand. My friend David, who was a programmer, once the Junos were or the Genies were out in Mississauga one year, like 20 years ago, or whatever, and it was quite snowy that day. And the way the parking was set up, no one cleared a snowbank. So he said the most Canadian thing he ever saw at the Genies that one year. Gordon Pinsett literally had to climb over a snowbank to get to the front thing, like honestly, with his wife, like in full tux, and I think he was even beyond that night. But just it was such a Canadian film, like, well, there you go.
Yeah, I don't think that man ever got angry about anything.
Yeah. He seemed so lovely, and especially when you would be watching something at TIFF and it'd be like, and featuring Gordon Pinsett in a random role. Like the last one I can think of off the top of my head was like Two Lovers and a Bear, and I believe he was the voice of the polar bear in it.
If that movie comes up, can I use Gordon Pinsent?
You
Can I
got it. It's all yours.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
excellent.
If that movie comes up, it's all yours.
Okay.
All right. So, 101 fascinating Canadian film and TV facts. Buy it at your local bookstore to help support Tom and support your local bookstores. Don't be a
Thank
cheapie
you
like
so
me
much.
and download it from the library. All right. So we're going to play a game of deep cuts. Our first one of the year, our first one of season 2. The first thing we're going to do is I'm thinking of a movie, which is not the movie I was thinking of before. And the three of you are going to try to guess what it is. Tom, you're our guest. What movie do you think I am thinking of?
Just randomly, eh?
Mhm.
I believe you're thinking of Three Men and a Baby.
All right. I'm not, but I like that.
Shot
I
in
like that one.
Toronto. Nice kind of Canadian connection.
Craig Smeaton, you weren't an extra on that film or anything like that? Like you weren't like the ghost boy in
I
the
wasn't the
background of
ghost
that
boy,
movie?
the 3-minute baby boy that hung in the window. No.
Yeah.
But I do have a story about that one, but another time. We've two more
Okay.
stories. I'm going to say Date Night with Steve Carell and Tina Fey.
That's a good one. That's got a good cast too. Maybe that will show up on an episode of Deep Cuts at some point, Craig. Alex, what is your guess?
Are you thinking of Enemy of the State?
Oh my gosh, that's a great deep cut movie, Alex.
I know.
Everyone's in that movie. No, I'm not thinking of that. I am thinking of the movie, the Chris Pine Dungeons and Dragons film. Why?
Oh, of course.
I literally, my son has a Dungeons and Dragons book here, and when I had to switch movies, I looked down and I was like, I guess it's Dungeons and Dragons. So, nobody really said anything fantasy. It's a comedy. It's an adventure comedy. Craig, where do you want to go? First, second, or third?
I'll go first.
Of course you will. Tom, since you're the guest, you can decide if you'd like to go second or third.
I will go third.
Alex, that puts you number 2, which is not bad.
You know what's funny? I don't like going second, but I tend to perform better in second.
Yeah.
So let's see. Maybe new season, new position for me.
New Alex. All right. So since Tom wrote a whole book about interesting Canadian facts, I wanted to keep this very Canadian tonight with these episodes. I would not say these are Canadian movies, but they do feature a lot of Canadians in them and are all directed by a very famous Canadian director. So from 2009, the comedy Up in the Air. From 2007, another comedy, Juno. And from 2021, Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Great.
I will let you know that there are a few people that appear in more than one of these films. So get your thinking caps on. And while you write down some names, let's hear a word from our sponsors. Movie buffs and collectors, this one's for you. MoviePosters.com offers an incredible selection of posters for every taste, from obscure indies to your blockbuster favorites.
Want a poster for The Longest Yard, The Good One, or the Adam Sandler one?
They've got both.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka, or just Wonka?
They have all options in a variety of sizes.
Go to MoviePosters.com and use the promo code DeepCuts15 to get 15% off your next order.
And I was gonna do like Spotlight and like a Ryan Gosling film, but I was just like, oh, they're so big and so heavy. And I did not want, I just watched Spotlight like a year ago and I did not really want to watch it again. I like
the
it.
Feel good movie of the year?
Oh, I mean, I know you really like it because you love watching people do research and like underlining things. And
That's me.
Craig also loves a paperwork movie.
I love the
We call them
paperwork
paperwork movies.
yeah, so I was just like, nah, it's good, but it's not. And I was like, oh, do I do Barbie? And I was like, I'm not going to watch Barbie again at this time for this one. Maybe for another episode, Barbie will. And I figured Tom was probably more likely to have watched Juno and Up in the Air.
Well, I've seen both. I have not seen the new Ghostbusters.
So this isn't the newest. This is the one when they're back on the farm, if that helps. So I think Frozen Empire is the name. Yeah. Okay. Frozen Empire is the newest one, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And I'll let Craig, you never do this, so it's not a big deal for you. But Tom, one of the new rules, not a new rule, but just a tweak to the rules. I'm no longer giving people credit for giving me vague physical descriptions of people.
Oh.
Because I think we've had people get like Richard Jenkins by being like, oh, he's like an older guy with like kind of like patchy skin. And I'm like, and then someone got like Keith David by saying he's got like a gap in his teeth and a distinctive voice. And I'm like, it doesn't really count because you could literally just go through any movie. All right. How's everyone feeling? Alex, you're...
I feel good about Ghostbusters and nothing else, but I feel very confident about Ghostbusters.
Okay. Good. Craig, you're always good.
I can start.
Okay.
Jeez, I wish I had gone second now.
They might all be gone by the time they get to you, Tom.
Yeah, well, there's not that many.
All right, Craig, what's your first deep cut?
I'm going to go, he'll probably not be a lot of points for one movie, but decent for another one. I'm going to go J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons is actually in all three, Craig.
Whoa!
Oh.
He is...
Is he
obviously,
a ghost voice or something?
He is actually the guy who built the monument, and he's lying in a
that's
tomb.
right. Yes,
and he wakes up and he's like, we can rule together, and the ghost kills him immediately.
I forgot that.
So I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, so he is 5 points for Juno as Juno's father. He is 7 points for Up in the Air, and he is 7 points as well for Ghostbusters Afterlife. So that is...
so just one scene, even though he's in one scene.
I mean, he's in a couple.
But he's a known guy. Okay, cool.
He's a known guy. Yeah, he's 19 points overall for.
I'll
J.K.
take it.
Simmons.
I'm not going
Boy,
to.
it's real. 2025 is shrinkflation on these points. I'm telling you, Jeff.
I mean, Juno, he's like a big.
Juno's for sure.
I'm saying
big.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters, I think maybe, but whatever.
It's fine.
Listen,
we're good.
Craig one time gave me 8 points for Mary Lou Retton in Scrooge. So I think that's where I'm basing that on, Alex. I'm going to hold that one forever. Alex, what's your first deep cut?
I'm going to give you the deepest cut I have for everything. I'm coming out of the gate as hot as I can. She's only worth like 5 points. I'm going to be so mad at you, Jeff. The actress who does the voice of Zool in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Sure.
She has one line. And I don't know her name because it's hard to pronounce, but she does a lot of voice acting, but she plays Christian Avasarala in The Expanse.
I think I know who you're talking about. I don't have that written down because I never watched The Expanse. She used to be on 24.
Yes.
That's what I remember from 24. And she was in the movie The House of Sand and Fog, if I'm not mistaken, with...
and she was in The Penguin. She was in 2 episodes of The Penguin.
Her name is, and like you said, it's very tough to... And she's actually not... Yeah, she's... So, Shiroi, and that's... Yeah, I'm going to stop right there because I'm just going to embarrass myself. But she is worth 16 points.
All right, I'll take it.
16
points.
That's
a lot of... That's good, right? 16 points.
That's very good.
20s are max, so 16 I accept.
It's a very good pull. It's a good start, Alex.
Okay.
Now, Tom, I know you were very worried about doing well in this game, but like we said, it's just for fun. So...
Absolutely. I have no problem not winning this game. That's that's all right. Well, so I do want to say that I had J.K. Simmons, so I'm not a complete.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. But I lost that, right, because he can't claim it. So I can only name one name, right, at this point. For
you actually have, because you're in the third spot, you get 2 guesses. You get 2 in a row, so you can do the first and your second deep cuts.
So I have one. I have one that isn't. I'm sure I just made up. 1, 2, 3, 4 names. So I want to choose the ones that
you think are the most...
that you would unlikely think of, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. If we were doing the original Ghostbusters,
I wouldn't want to choose Bill Murray.
Don't give me Bill Murray. No, give me the guy who runs the hot dog cart while the hot dogs are exploding in the air, which I believe was the guy from was he the Spumante Bambino commercial guy? Is that?
Jesus.
No, because our friend Jagar went to school with it. Like, and his son works at CTV.
Yeah.
This is getting very close to the guy with the space in his tooth.
Yes,
for real. Yeah. Okay. Give us a physical description of him, Jeff.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with for Up in the Air. Which one is the least likely to be known? I mean, you'll know him, but I'm going to go with Sam Elliott.
Yeah, very good. I believe as the pilot, right? The pilot at the end that comes and gives him his kind of
Sam Elliott. Yeah.
He's worth 10 points.
Oh, that's
very
good. And
so
then I get another guess.
Because he's in his Reitman's first movie. That's right.
Yeah, I think he's only in the one scene at the very end when he's finally reached his 1 million miles or whatever it is, whatever his goal was. And he comes back and he gives him kind of like the platinum card or whatever it is. Like,
So there's that. What's that other? Okay, so there's I'm just like I have. I'm gonna go. He's in both movies. Jason Bateman.
He is. I believe he is the lead's boss in Up in the Air,
And the father.
and he is the prospective adopted dad in
Yeah.
Juno.
That is
So
a great poll.
So for Juno, he's worth 4 points, and for Up in the Air, he is worth 6. So it's another 10 points.
20 points for Tom.
Yeah. You've already done well enough. And here's the thing, though: we're only on our first episode. You're going to be in the top 3 scores for this season right off the bat. So
Right. Right.
And how many scenes is Jason Bateman in and Up in the Air? And how many scenes is J.K. Simmons in? I'm just saying. 1 point. I'm just saying. Maybe like whatever, but.
I'm just, I honestly, I couldn't find Up in the Air. It's not streaming anywhere for free, and I don't own it. But he is literally like he's credited like 3rd or 4th in that movie. Like it's the lead, the girlfriend, this other person, and then Jason Bateman. Whereas J.K. Simmons is a little bit further down. Craig, you got 19 points. I don't know what you're crying about.
Yeah, he's 1 point under me. He's sad about that.
Yeah.
But then you got 19 points for one guess.
One for
That's
one,
true.
yes, yeah. And I'm sure Craig's going to pull something. Well, the guy who's washing dishes
I don't
in
think
this
so.
scene. All right.
So I entered Tom's next guess, I think. Right?
No, that was it. He's got
Okay,
Jason
okay,
Bateman
okay.
and Sam Elliott.
Well, that's
so
right,
he's
yes,
doing
yes.
well. Alex, what is your second deep cut?
Also from Ghostbusters, the second half of my guess from the previous one. So the voice was actress playing Avazarella. The, I guess, actress who plays her on screen is Olivia Wilde.
It is Olivia Wilde for 14 points. So
Very
not
good.
quite as much because she is physically more noticeable in that movie. But yeah, well done. That's a good one. That's a good one, Alex. Craig Smeaton.
I'm
We're
going to
back to
go
you. Number 2 and number 3.
Afterlife is Tracy Letts.
Whoa. I had that.
Carrie Coon's husband.
I did not know that they were married.
I'm writing Gary Coombs.
Big
down.
DVD Blu-ray collection.
Oh yeah. Craig just gave one away. Not that anyone was going to jump on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, but
That's all right. That's all right.
That's a
but
rookie mistake. Yeah.
Tracy Letts from Lady Bird, Ford versus Ferrari, and many other things plays, I believe, like just a shopkeeper in Ghostbusters. He literally just works at the hardware store. So not a big part, but well done, Craig. 15 points for Tracy Letts.
Wow. 15 for one. Wow. Great.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think anyone would remember him in that film at all. But
Boy, and only 1 extra point for one line for an obscure voice actress, eh?
Mhm.
These points. Come on, man. I'm telling you.
It's the first episode that Jeff's going to walk off. Keep the record. We're going to be on
The
our
first
own.
and last episode.
so to season 2, yes.
Okay, so I have one more.
You have one more, Craig. What is your
I don't know
third?
why I can't remember his last name because I know, but Danny Eastbound and Down, and the guy the guy from Eastbound and Down, Kenny Powers,
Danny McBride.
Danny McBride. Yeah,
How many
Up in
points
the
did you
air.
get for that?
Danny McBride is 8 points.
All right.
that tracks.
Yeah.
I believe he's getting married. That's the wedding that.
I think the sister. I think he might be
The
engaged. to
sister's married to. Yes,
Yeah.
So
That
we're
helps
saying
me,
things to help people remember
Yeah,
other characters.
I don't know what the sister is.
Oh well, she's someone. She is someone. Alex, it's your third deep cut. What do you got?
So, there's another one. I'm like, better be high points. I don't know her name. I don't think you know her name either. But
No, I don't. But I know where you're going with
You know
this
where I'm
one.
going. The group of friends that like go down the well and they like find the whatever kind of thing. One of them is the deadpan girl from Reservation Dogs that we really like. That always has like the throwaway, like very subtle lines.
Yes, her name is Paulina Alexis.
Never would have pulled that in a million years, but she's in Reservation.
And she's also 14 points, Alex.
Good for you. That's a
She
good call.
has no lines.
But Alex, I also know that you know that so well because every time she says that, you're like, "Hey, it's the girl from Reservation Dogs."
What a double standard! All right,
Dude,
fine.
you gave me 12 points for Matt Walsh for one
And I
line
gave you
in
20
Elf.
for Will Ferrell's brother. Get out of here.
Tom, we're back to you with your third deep cut. Once you've given that, I'll give you all a points rundown at the halfway point. Hopefully Craig hasn't stolen, because I think you had Danny McBride there.
I did.
Yeah.
But I even had his last name. So.
Yes,
Ooh.
that's fair.
Yeah, anyway. So really, I just have the major players left for Up in the Air. I'm not going to say the major players for Juno. So I'm going to go with Zach Galifianakis.
Nakis. Yes,
Mhm.
Zach Galifianakis and Up in the Air.
Galifianakis and Up in
Yeah,
the
well
Air.
done. Well done. You know what you're doing? You're very consistent. He's also 10 points.
I don't remember him at all in that
Me
movie.
neither.
Movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just sort of remember seeing him, and I knew that I couldn't go with. Should I say some names that are obvious?
I mean, hold
No,
on one
shoot,
second.
Case.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now. I'll give you the halfway point because you have one more guess. So if you want to,
Oh,
if
they're
you have
only the
enough-
major players.
okay, I would hold on to them just in case you make it to the end and be like, I need that one.
Yeah.
But at the halfway point, you're sitting at a very respectable 30 points, which I think will keep you out of the bottom 10 worst scores of the season.
Ever.
Because
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
no, you'll be fine. Like 33 is kind of, you're on the lower half, but I think right now you're going to be fine. Alex, you have 44.
Pretty good.
And Craig, you have 42.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Behind.
42. So it's a very close game. And you know what? Tom, you're not out of it. 30 points is very respectable.
I hear the Alex Trebek in you saying that.
Ooh.
Well, no, the memory of Alex.
No, you're doing very well
Yeah.
for a first time player,
Thank you.
and very consistent. So,
Okay.
what is your fourth deep cut? And if you can avoid the big players, that'd be good. There's still some interesting.
Well, I
deep
want to say
cuts.
Jerry Coombs, but that's cheating. I can't remember. I think, and I keep thinking the wrong actress, and I think she's in this movie, and I want to say Vera Miles, and it's not Vera Miles.
Which movie are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking of Up in the Air. It's not.
Okay.
You'll probably say your name.
You're
first
very
half.
close.
Yeah, you're very close.
Okay. I mean, she's not a ton of points, but I think she also has a famous, like an actor's sister as well, right? Am I not?
Yeah,
Oh,
wasn't she in Final Girls?
Yeah, and I think she was in American Horror Story. The sister was in American Horror Story the first season. Is that the direction you want to go, Tom? Do you want to go with the Vera?
But it's not Miles.
No, and I felt like you were about to say it there. It was
She has
Oh,
family who's an actress.
Yes.
Farmiga.
Vera. I always say Farminga, but it's probably
Farminga?
not.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. I pronounce a lot of names wrong.
She is worth 3 points, so not a ton. She's kind of second or third build in that film, but she's in it, so
Yeah.
that's points on the board.
Yay, 3 points. Well, at least but like what you said, 33 is the
33 is, and listen, just don't get zeros. We've learned a long time ago that when you get a zero, you really take yourself out of the game, right, Alex?
Yep.
There's been plenty of times where you've like
That's
put
killer.
up a zero, or you
And lost by 3 points.
yeah, and like taken the lead rather than the secondary person and missed out on 1 point.
Do you
So-
get zero by saying someone who is not in the movie at all, or do you get
Yes.
zero by saying the most obvious?
No, like the most obvious would be 1. Like at least it's 1. But if there was no Vera Farmiga in this film, that would have been
Farmiga.
It would have been 0.
Yeah.
Yes. Alex Young, what's your fourth deep cut?
So I'm doing that thing you always hate, where I like ask you vague questions to try
Sure.
and see what's worth more points. So, is a lead that most people are probably not going to know their name worth more than a famous cameo in any one of these 3 movies?
I'm curious who you think is a lead that nobody knows their name. Is it a female, Alex?
Yes.
I mean,
I think I know what you're thinking about.
Are you? And sorry, you're trying to compare them to who? What's
I don't
like?
know, other people.
Well,
More
I
famous people that my mom knows versus people
Yeah.
who my mom does not know. That's usually
It's very close. Alex, if you're like first, second, or third build in a movie, even if people don't know who you are,
okay. Fair enough.
they're not going to be a ton
In
of
that
points.
case. Give me and like so sorry spoilers for Tom who has not seen this movie. But I will take Harold Ramis in Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's a nice cameo.
Yes. Where did I put him? But is he?
Yeah, I mean it's his
It's
not-
likeness.
It's CG.
Yes, but it's
And
taken from home movies.
Okay, but as per the rules, if they
Is
are
he
not,
IMDb'd?
Is he
I
not
don't-
credited in IMDb?
I don't believe he's on IMDb. It's two other people are listed as Ghost Egon Spengler. Okay, Alex. Can I give you 10 points with that? Is that okay if I give you 10?
Sure. Or you can
Because-
just let me have another guess. Whatever you prefer.
I mean, do you think you can do better than 10 points?
Probably not. Let's be honest.
Well, how much does that compare to the other Ghostbusters?
It's less
Okay.
because, and
That's
I was
good
trying
to
to
know.
do some research on this because two people are credited
Sure.
for doing this. One was a stand-in for some of it, and someone else did some actions, and I can't find any verified proof that this other person was in it, but the one person they do mention in an article, and I'll tell you about that after. So Alex, I'm going to put you down for Harold Ramis
I'll take the 10.
for 10 points.
All right. How many guesses do I have left? 1?
You have 2. That was your 4th.
Ah, great.
So Craig, this is your 4th and your 5th.
Whew, I might lose this one. Allison Janney for
Allison Janney as the
For Juno?
stepmom in Juno is worth 5 points.
Oh, I wish I thought that.
I mean, she takes her to the like.
no.
she's-
I think it's I wouldn't have. Oh gosh. Then I guess I'll go Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters Afterlife once again he's 6 points
Okay.
as he is part of the whole crew that shows up at the end to help out.
Yeah.
It's a solid cut, Craig. But Alex, you've got a chance to put this away with a decent cut.
So I'm going to pull from Juno.
Mhm.
I'm going to pull Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, Rainn Wilson works at the convenience store where Juno buys her pea stick.
Yep.
And
And that's
I
one omelet that can't be undone, home skillet.
Yeah.
Skillet.
so he is worth 9 points for that.
Oh, I should have gone with him. He was going to be my next one, but damn it. Okay, well there you go.
Would this movie have been before Super? The movie
Yeah.
that he like Rainn Wilson and someone else were in together, right? Like
Mhm.
Super.
Super was a
James Gunn.
James Gunn superhero movie where Rainn Wilson
Oh yeah, that's right. And it's
Lu-
just that sort of red mask.
yes,
like hoodie mask
loses
thing,
his
yeah.
girlfriend to Kevin Bacon, a drug dealer, and then decides to start being a superhero and hitting people with wrenches.
Yeah, just a pipe wrench, and he just like brains people with it.
Yeah.
It's
Is it worth
insane.
seeing?
It's. I think it's a really good movie.
Yeah, and like I think like you said, if you like dark humor, it's pretty dark. A lot of people die in that movie. It's pretty
Yeah.
graphic, if I'm not mistaken.
It's on my list for tonight.
Tom, you're
Oh.
back with your final 2 deep cuts. Do you have anything?
They are
left?
deep. They are not deep. It's embarrassing. Anna Kendrick. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Anna Kendrick for Up in the Air.
Up in the Air.
She's worth 2 points for that. As she is kind of the
2 points. That's
Take
more
it.
than I thought. I'm also going to go with. I'm not going to go with what's his name because that's too obvious. So I'm going to go to Juno and Elliot Page.
I mean, that's. I mean, she is the
She's the titular character.
He is the titular character, and I have it written down as Elliot Page. So it is 1 point, unfortunately. For
That's
Elliot.
fine. I thought I'd get an extra point for staying Elliot. But
no, it's a fine round. Alex, we're back to you with your final deep cut and a chance to ice the game here, buddy.
We'll see. You know what? I'm just gonna. I feel like he's only worth a few, but how about Bill Murray in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like Ernie Hudson was worth 6, so Bill Murray is worth less than that. He is worth 4 points.
Oh, big drop.
I mean,
A
That's
big
fair.
drop.
I mean, he's
4.
he's Bill Murray, and nothing against Ernie Hudson, but he's kind of the forgotten Ghostbuster
All right.
most of the time.
I
Craig,
feel like the forgotten Ghostbusters, Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters 2.
a little bit, yeah.
He took a bus.
Craig Smeaton. What's your final?
I'm going to go with, and probably not going to be huge, but, and I forget her last name again. I don't know what I have her last name is, but Juno's friend, actress, is her name's Olivia, her first name, I believe.
Yep.
And I don't know why I can't remember her last name.
A lot of famous Olivias showed up around this time of this girl. There's Olivia Wilde, Olivia Munn. I feel like there's other Olivias, but this is Olivia Thirlby, who, Alex, we would know her
Was she in
from
Dredd?
She's in Dredd with
Yeah,
what's his name?
she's there.
And I believe she's in a season or 2 of Goliath with Billy Bob Thornton as one of the lawyers. She's very good. Olivia Thirlby for 8 points. Craig.
8 points. I'll take it. That's good.
8 points, solid. Okay, before I give you the final scores, let's see if you
Can I
missed
ask about a
anything.
couple, Jeff?
You can.
How much was Michael Cera worth for Juno? I feel like he's not in it that much.
2
Is this
points.
2 points?
He's in it a lot. He's on the poster. They
Okay.
sing songs together.
He's got those shorts.
Yeah, he's got those yellow
He's
shorts.
got little shorts, that's right. And the lead that I was asking about in Ghostbusters is McKenna Grace. Is she still like 1 point?
3 points.
3 points. Okay. That seems reasonable.
I mean, it was really hard to figure out who. So for Ghostbusters Afterlife, I mean, most people might not know Finn Wolfhard's name, but he's a pretty big star. You got Stranger Things, so he was worth 1. Carrie Coon, Paul Rudd, 3 for Carrie, 2 for Paul Rudd. McKenna Grace also 3 points. If anybody had remembered the kid who plays Podcast, who is like the friend who is running the podcast, but nobody would have gotten him because his name is Logan Kim. Let's see. You got the rest of the Ghostbusters. Annie Potts. Sigourney Weaver is in a deleted scene that you could have pulled from.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she's at the end. They're doing the old game where she's showing the cards to
that's right.
Bill Murray, and she's zapping them every time.
Oh, that's a post-credit scene. I don't think it's a deleted scene. I think it's post-credit.
Sorry, yes. The sheriff of the town is the actor Bokeem Woodbine from Spider-Man, and I think he's in Fargo. Dan Aykroyd's daughter plays a deputy in the movie.
Nice.
Josh Gad is the voice of Muncher. The ghost.
I knew there was somebody who was a voice. I was going to say Bill Hader, but he's not in it, is he? Good. I knew there was someone who famous who was who played Muncher.
So the 2 people that stood in for Harold Ramis, so credited somehow is Ivan Reitman doing some stuff.
Okay.
Which that's according to IMDb, and I couldn't find any verification of it. But I could find verification that Bob Gunton, who was the warden in Shawshank Redemption, did the stand-in work for Harold Ramis's ghost character. So well done there. From Juno, Jennifer Garner.
How much points was Garner? I knew that one.
3 points. So not.
I should have done that with other than Elliot Page.
Emily Perkins from Ginger Snaps and It, the miniseries. And then the big, not a big one, but from the Degrassi, The Next Generation, an actor named Daniel Clark was a love interest of Juno that has one line, and he makes fun of her for dropping her book. Up in the air, we passed on George Clooney. Obviously, the sister that is getting married, Craig, is Melanie Linsky.
That's right.
Who is?
I almost said Merritt Weaver, but she's in Michael Clayton, so I was like, I knew I was getting a George Clooney. There was a George Clooney connection, but yeah.
80s 90s hip-hop rapper artist Young MC is also in the movie, because I think at some point they end up at a hotel and there's a convention going on for some sort of bankers, and they've hired Young MC to perform. So Vera Farmiga and George Clooney kind of sneak into it and bust a move to Young MC, and then that was about it. You did very well. Well done, everyone. Final points. I think we know who won, because I think Alex actually held on to this one. So congratulations. But let's see.
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh. Tom, you were at 30 at the halfway point. You picked up 6 in the second half. So that puts you at 36. Craig, 42 at the halfway point with another 19 in the second half, puts you at 61. Alex, you had 44. with 23. Ooh, it's very close. 67 for Alex, 61 for Craig, 36 for Tom. Well
Yay.
done.
Congratulations. Exciting game.
This is my longest winning streak. One.
The part that I hate when Alex wins, though, is the prize is he gets to suggest a next guest.
Well, why don't I, in that case, defer it to our guest?
I know. I would much rather hear who Tom thinks would be a good person to.
You don't want me hilariously to suggest Riley Reid that we should try and get on?
I've got a great suggestion if you're at a loss.
I will take suggestions if we
regardless.
Yeah. What do you got, Tom?
I'll give you a suggestion of someone who you can get, and I'm going to go. Maybe he was on it already. Dave Voigt, who runs In the Seats website.
No. Like Tom, you're honestly, as far as film world goes, you're the biggest name we've had so far. The fact that Richard Krause mentioned the podcast to you was a huge
over
deal.
Beers. I had to buy him beers.
You had to get him a little drunk before he's like, "Hey, there's a stupid podcast that wants to get me on."
No, you know why he didn't? He said he wouldn't be able to play this game. He said he would flop, and I think he sort of sent me out sort of like as a scout,
as a feeler. Yes,
you're the canary.
Yeah, I played trivia with Richard, and he's quite good. So I think he'd do better than he thinks.
Yeah, and like we had him booked, and then I think something came up, and we had to cancel. And I think he's busy right now, so
he's scared. That's all.
Yeah, put on your Mr. T voice and say, "Goad him into."
Pity the fool who doesn't play deep cuts. All right.
And what's Craig's?
Thank you, Tom. For I think his name rhymes with get or gets. Let's try Tracy Letts.
Tracy Letts.
He's got like 10,000 DVDs and Blu-rays. Apparently, he's a big movie guy, and a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright too. So there's that.
Well, the best part of this is me reaching out to these people and then radio silence from all of them. So, but we'll give it a try.
You won't get radio silence from Dave.
All right, perfect. Craig Smeaton, what do you got to promote? Anything coming up for you?
No, nothing. Just nothing I can think about. No, I think I'll just getting back in the swing of things. 2025. Nothing crazy. Yeah, sorry to be so boring, but just looking forward to catching up on some movies I haven't seen. It's a lot of holiday films I haven't seen yet, like Nosferatu and The Brutalist, but I've seen almost everything else. But I want to see it on the big screen and some in 70 mil. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm having trouble getting people from my household to go to the movies with me.
You can't tell them on The Brutalist, Jeff? Come on, family. It's only 3 hours, 35 minutes, but there is a 15-minute intermission, which is awesome. Every movie should have an intermission. I loved it.
How about you, Alex? What's going on in your world?
Oh, nothing. Come on, man. You know it's nothing. You always ask. No, but like, support your local rep cinema. Toronto, we got the Fox, the Review, Paradise. Check them out. Shop at your local video store as well, if you're lucky enough to have one.
Tom, you've got a couple books out there. Yep. Are you working on the next 101 fascinating Canadian film and TV facts?
I am working on a mystery novel right now, but I'm also working on another film book involving a independent film producer that I'm not privy to mention. But
okay, no, fair enough. We will save it for the next time you come on, and I don't put you up against Craig. But hey, Alex won, so anything can happen.
Honestly, no one's more surprised than me.
Tom, where can people find you if they want to reach out and pick your brain about movies and stuff like that?
Oh, I welcome emails. So realtomernst@gmail.com, and that's REELTHOMERNST. And that's the best way. I don't really know how to work all the other ones.
Well, perfect. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Alex, did you write an outro for me this week?
I sure did, Jeff.
Okay.
And I like to have a theme, as you know, we did our Noir month, we did Christmas month, we did Halloween, that kind of stuff. And I was kind of at a loss for January, and then I remembered some film nerds like myself celebrate January, where you watch a bunch of giallo films that you haven't seen, like a Deep Red or pretty much anything. Dario Argento always fits the bill. So my question for you, Jeff, before I send this, how is your Italian?
Oh, it's a very good, Alex.
Perfect. Because I wrote you a real racist one. So, actually,
Yeah.
There were a couple of drafts that had like just a bunch of pastas in it. And I'm like, that's maybe too much. So
I told you I just watched what was the religious horror movie Immaculate. And anytime something scary would happen, my daughter was watching it with me, I would just say something in a really bad Italian accent, like, "Oh no, it's a ghost," and we'd be like, "Okay, it's okay."
Perfect. So basically, yeah, give me like your best Mario,
Okay.
and I'm sending you this outro. Which any of the words you don't recognize, they are Italian words that I have looked up for the purpose. More effort went to this than I think anything I did at work in the last like 3 weeks. It's not very long, but here it comes, Jeff. Here's your outro.
I thought I could, before I even read it, I could see the first line, and I was like, "Oh, great!" All right, here we go, everyone. It's a me, Giaffredo. Grazie to our players Craig and Tom, and to my intelligente, delicioso co-host Alicio. Congratulaziano to this week's winner, Alicio. Cigarros on X, Instagram, and Ciao Blue at Deep Cuts the Game. Join us next Dominica for a new episode. Montebello. Grazie for listening. Arrivederci. And good night. Thanks everyone for listening to Deep Cuts. We'll have a new episode for you next week. Ciao.
Bellissimo.
Welcome to Haven't Seen It, a movie podcast hosted by Tim Sestito and Tommy Tevenet. One of these hosts hasn't seen the movie, and they're going to talk about it. Expect great insight.
Tim's really testing my commitment to the podcast by making me watch The Godfather.
Witty banter.
I like RoboCop shooting dicks, I guess.
And lots of laughs. Haven't Seen It. Available on Apple, Spotify, and all other major podcast platforms.